Hi, my name is Zanele Mbuyisa. I am the legal counsel for PLAAF. The role of the law in protecting whistleblowers is supremely important in that whistleblowers tend to face a lot of challenges when they make the disclosures. So having legal systems in place and laws in place to protect them when they make those disclosures is a layer of security that is granted to whistleblowers, and that will be encouraging to other people who want to make disclosures about a corrupt activity or an illegal activity that is committed by a company or a government. PLAAF is an organization that protects whistleblowers, and it is for that reason that I decided to join PLAAF for the protection of whistleblowers. The success, I would say, is that we have whistleblower protection laws. So that in itself is a success. And South Africa, even to an extent, took it further in that they tried, or they did, in fact, amend certain loopholes within the original Whistleblower Protection Act that we have. And that would be the success, the fact that we have such legislation in place already. Now, the failures to that are that no one seems to be adhering to those laws. Companies, on a superficial level, put the systems in place as dictated to by the law, and that is not every company. It's some companies, but they also make sure that when they put those systems in place, their systems, what they've put in place, is on a superficial level, in that it doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't give the protection to the whistleblower like it's meant to be doing in terms of the act. So those are the failures. And a further failure is that when they put those superficial systems in place, or don't even put those systems in place or adhere to the law, no one is holding these companies to account, because there is this glaring gap that nobody's regulating all of that. So I would say those are the failures. I would not presume to come up with one solution fixes all for a continent that has over 50 countries. But what I would try and say is that the first step for every country in the continent is to have whistleblower protection laws in the first place. I think that should be a starting point in every country. Um, Africa, through its history, we know that some countries, it's filled with a myriad of problems, and it is extremely important that each country has a whistleblower protection law to protect people who come forward. As you know, as courageous as they are, it is very difficult to sustain that courage if you're being attacked and threatened. This continent is plagued by countries that have a fragile rule of law, or you have leaders that have been in place or in power in their lifetime for over 20 years or 30 years. And because of that, it seemed it seems like the problems that we have are so insurmountable, because what law do you prioritize over the other? But what I think is that a good start would be putting in place um, whistleblower protection laws, because they go further in guaranteeing human rights, in that they show what the corruption is. They show what is it that governments and companies are failing to do. And slowly but surely, then you deal with the rest of the other issues that we have as a continent in terms of other rights and other human rights. South Africa whistleblower law is known, or a person being a whistleblower is a known or has become a known phenomenon. And I think that is because of the public protector's report on state capture. And that came about actually because people took it upon themselves to go to the public protector and make the protected disclosures. That in turn led to the Zondo Commission of Inquiry that we have. It's the Zondo Commission of Inquiry into state capture. So as a result, people are aware that there is a law that protects whistleblowers. The problem is that they don't know what the law exactly says. To what extent does this law protect them, and how do they get this protection? So then it goes back to the failures of the question that I answered previously, in that the gray areas where people don't know where they need to go, what help they need to get, what they need to seek, and the less than enthusiastic systems that companies put in place. Those are what make it difficult, if not impossible, for the law to take its course and actually protect whistleblowers. But yes, South Africa, in terms of other countries on the continent, is set apart in terms of how common is it to whistleblow, is because of the recent events that have happened. The challenges that I have experienced since starting working with PLAAF is, I guess, when a person makes a protected disclosure and shines a light on a particular corruption, it is a newsworthy event, and what they say is considered very newsworthy, and it's very easy for whistleblowers to get carried by the fanfare of it all. But what whistleblowers, I think, do not think about at the time when this is happening is that whatever disclosures they've made, they might actually be cross-examined or tested in a court of law, in a tribunal, or in any form of hearing. So if what they say publicly contradicts the evidence that is present for the court, or does not meet the standards that are set by the court, then it becomes problematic. So those are the challenges that I have seen. So, but they're not insurmountable challenges. They are challenges that can be dealt with effectively. So yeah, those are the challenges. What gives me hope is that more and more people are coming forward to whistleblow. And for me, I think that is a good sign, because the more we know about the corruption, the more we have a chance as a country, as human beings. So yeah, the more whistleblowers come forward, the more hope I get.
Thank you.